All right, today I'm going to shoot another video, but as always, I'm going to start with what I'm carrying today. Today I have in my pocket my Strider WP, fatty in 3V steel. I think I can show you that. 3V, monkey edge exclusive, very nice knife. Actually, I like it a lot better than I thought I would. I thought that I would prefer the frag scales that I have had on my other fixed blades, but I really like this cord wrap. The only thing I wish is that it was OD. But that's my knife. Let's roll the intro. Okay, today I'm going to discuss my Strider collection, all my Strider folders actually. I'm going to make a separate video with all my fixed blades, but the first knife that I have here is my next to newest Strider knife, and you can see here it's still got some clay on the edge from the last time I used it. I guess I should clean that. But this is an older Strider SMG. The way you can tell the difference between an SMG and an SMF real quick, if you don't know, is the SMG only has 2 screws up here on the top part of the handle. So this is an older SMG Tonto, and you can see here that it's a full flat ground Tonto. They haven't done full flat ground Tontos in several years, and if anybody from Strider's watching, I'd love to get my hands on a new full flat ground Tonto SMF. So just saying, just me. Here on this side, you have the flamed titanium. You have the tiger stripe blade, which basically starts off as a black oxide coating, and then they bead blast it, which gives you these gray lines, gray and black lines. Black G10, not my favorite. I'm a Ranger green guy, but when I came across this knife here, I couldn't pass it up. And you don't really see too many full flat ground Tontos anymore. There are different generations of Striders, but I'm not going to get into that today. This is my first folder that I have here. My next folder, and probably where I should have started, is the smallest Strider that I have, and this is a Strider PT, and this one has a black oxide coated blade. It has bead blasted titanium, black G10. Again, not my favorite, but at the time I got this knife, it was the only option that I had available to me. I have had several other PTs. However, I've ended up getting rid of them for one reason or another. I wish I wouldn't have, but we've all been there. We've sold knives to buy other knives, and then we don't like the new knives that we got, but then you can't replace the knives that you sold, so I don't know. But this is my second Strider folder here, my Strider PT. The next knife I have would be a Strider SJ75S, also known as the Baby Huey. This knife was the brainchild of Mick Strider, and you can see here that there's only the chain ring bolt here, and then there's one screw at the back that holds the pocket clip, the standoff, and both of these scales together. So it's a very simple knife. You don't see these all the time. Very strange looking knife, but very comfortable. In my large hand, the only thing that's a little bit awkward is kind of getting down here to this thumb hole and opening it up. But once it's open, it's a very comfortable knife. And I wear an extra large glove just for reference. This is one of the most thinly ground Striders I think I've ever had. You can see here that it's a hollow grind. There are some grind lines there that you can see. You can see here the back of the blade and the actual blade well itself on either side. You can see that it has these markings here. I believe that these were referred to as the dragon spine. But it's Ranger Green G10, stonewash blade, and I think that Strider does some of the best stonewashing in the business. It's very smooth, very reflective, but it's still, depending on the knife, you're able to see those grind lines. The other side also has a feature that's unique to this knife. You can see that there are lines milled into the titanium, but this is also stonewashed titanium. I believe this is S35 VN if I'm not mistaken, but this is one of the earlier hand ground versions. I've owned this knife twice, maybe 3 times, but definitely twice. I had one in Coyote Brown, and I can't stand Coyote Brown. It was one of the very first ones that came out, but I ended up getting rid of that, and luckily I was able to come upon one in Ranger Green, which is my preferred color. All right, my fourth knife. I was very fortunate. There's actually a little story behind this knife. I had this same exact knife, except it had a digicam blade, and I don't think I have any digicam anymore, so I can't show you what digicam looks like in this video, but I sold that knife. Stupidly, I sold the knife, and I looked for a replacement of that knife for 2 years. Well, one day I was on the USN looking around the cove, and I stumbled upon this knife with this Strider flage, and I don't know if how well you can see that, but it's lots and lots and lots of Strider logos, large, small, some in the foreground, some in the background. Not a extremely common pattern, but a fairly common pattern. It looks like it's over a stonewash finish. Pretty cool blade. I stumbled upon this anyway, and I ended up getting it at a pretty spectacular deal. I was shocked, actually. I really got pretty fortunate on this. But this is a dual gunner grip. You've got that kind of golf ball pattern here and the golf ball pattern on the titanium. So it's a dual gunner grip, Smg, and with the Strider flage on the blade. And I believe this one is S30, and I think, yeah, that should focus. S30V. You can see here, I'm not 100% certain. I believe it's bead blasted, and then they kind of knock off the rough edges. But it's bead blasted titanium. Again, gunner grip here. Bead blasted clip. Ranger Green G10 that has that gunner grip pattern. Very grippy. I usually carry knives like this, especially in a sheath, because it is a little bit aggressive and it will kind of start to shred your pockets, but any of these knives will over time. And I will show you my sheath collection as well. The next knife up is going to be a knife that you've seen a lot of. This here is my Z-Wear 3/4 ground Smg, and this is the Lego handle, and you can see Lego because it's blocky. I did oil this a while back and put it into storage. You can see I'm not shy with the lubrication, so it's a little bit of extra lube there. I'll just wipe that off. This has the flame titanium. This has a Zerk Pete Gray lock bar stabilizer. If you don't know about Pete Gray, great guy, great products. Go check him out. He's on Instagram. He has his own, I believe he has his own Facebook page. I might be wrong. But anyhow, Pete Gray. This is in black oxide as well. This is 3/4 ground. You can see here the grind only goes up about this far. So that's a 3/4 ground blade. It's really all there is to say about that one. If you've watched before, or if you haven't, I'll tell you now. This is one of my favorite knives. If I'm going to do any work around the house, or if I'm going outside to do any work in the yard, I usually put this knife in my pocket right here, and you can see it's got good, honest wear because of that. So, Strider Smg 3/4 ground blade, Lego. I forgot to mention here as well, this knife is full flat ground. You can see that the grind goes all the way up to about right here. So it's not totally full flat, but it's pretty much essentially full flat. Next up, this one here, again, another knife I was lucky to get in on. Ryan at Blue Line Gear, he had some of these knives. I saw him when they went live. He had the Arctic Gray version as well. I've always wanted an Arctic Gray version of a knife, a Strider knife, but I drug my feet because I didn't want to spend the money at the time. And eventually I ended up finding this knife at another retailer for retail price. I paid $420. I know that I posted this knife. I don't remember if it was on Instagram or on Facebook, and Josh commented back about how few of these there are. So I don't know the exact numbers, but apparently these are pretty rare. This has a ghost stripe blade, which is the opposite of the tiger stripe blade. Basically what you have here is a stonewash blade, which is the shiny part, and then a bead blast over the stonewash to give you this ghost stripe effect. This knife is known as the Crusader, and you can see the Crusader cross and shield here. You can see that the handle has an American flag on it. It's also a Lego Smg flame titanium, and I believe this one is S30 V steel as well. So pretty cool knife. Definitely enjoy that one. Now we're going to start to get into a few SMFs. This is my newest Strider right here. This is my Strider Smf Hybrid, and it's a hybrid because on this side you can see that gunner grip pattern, Ranger Green G10 again, but on the reverse side you can see that it has Lego flame titanium. So it's a hybrid. This is what's known as a hybrid, and they do these in concealed carry as well as the gunner grip. I really wanted a full gunner grip knife in this exact configuration. Unfortunately, it doesn't sound like they're going to be doing any full gunner grip or full concealed carry for a good little bit. This knife here I got from MixStriderCustomKnives.com. I believe that's the website. You can see here, I've broken down some boxes and some stuff with it. Nothing major, just some rub marks on the blade. Again, this is the tiger stripe pattern, a black oxide blade, and they bead blast over that black oxide, which gives you this pattern. You can see here, like I said, I'm not going to get into generations, but you can see the difference in the logo here, how crisp it is, versus one that is much, much, much older. And you can see that this knife, you can make it out, but you can see it's kind of lighter in that upper left-hand corner, and it's kind of darker down here. This looks like it was done more with a some type of a hand die or something like that. This knife has PSF 27 steel, which from my understanding is supposed to be pretty close to D2 tool steel, but this is powder or spray formed D2. One of the new features on this knife, and I guess going here forward, you can see a little relief here, which really helps. It seems like a little feature, but it really helps you get your thumb in there and close that knife up. So this is a hybrid SMF Ranger Green G10, full flat ground tiger stripe blade, drop point, Lego flame titanium, and that's really all there is to say about that knife as well. I've got a couple more here. This knife was a True North Knives exclusive, so it's fairly similar. Kind of reminds you of this knife here. This knife, as you can tell by all my other ones, it's green. Green is my favorite color. This knife also has a tiger stripe blade. I've also used this knife a very, very large amount. Full flat ground tiger stripe blade. I believe this, I don't think this is S30. I think this is, let's see if I can get it to focus. Pretty certain, yeah, CPM 154. So this one is a little bit of a different steel. Again, there's that peat gray lock bar stabilizer in Zerk, flame titanium, the Ranger Green G10, the American flag, and again, this is a Lego knife. This is my only one with this different color strip here. From what I understand, it just depends on how the G10 comes from the supplier. That's not necessarily anything that was done on purpose. It's not necessarily anything that makes it more rare than another knife. And finally, last but not least, this knife here is an SMF 3/4 ground Tonto Ranger Green G10. Again, that peat gray lock bar stabilizer in Zerk, the flame titanium here. This knife is a little bit special. It's micro melt PD1. I know that they have just recently released some more fixed blades in this steel, but you don't see too many of the micro melt and the Z-wear. You don't see too much. You do see a good bit of 3V. I don't really carry this knife a lot. I've actually kind of considered trading this knife away. I don't know. I'm considering. I would love to have another AR or possibly maybe even a GB, but really more so an AR. If you have anything that you're interested in me taking a look at, please just give me a comment down below and I'll be happy to at least, look at it. But this knife actually was given to me, well, not given to me. I missed out on the drop. These knives were sold at Matt D Tactical, and I actually was working when the drop came. To the best of my knowledge, this is one of only 2 in this configuration. Ranger Green, Lego, and the 3/4 black oxide Tonto blade. The guy that bought it, he told me that he ended up not really liking the SMF size, so he sold it to me at retail. So again, if you're not a member of the USN, I would definitely suggest going to check them out. Definitely a great website, definitely a great forum, and it's just like they say, you come for the knives, but you stay for the people. So this knife here is a little bit special, but it's just one for the collection. I've got another few things here that I want to pull out. I've got some sheaths, as I mentioned earlier. I carry these knives in sheaths quite a bit. I have here, this is probably one of the sheaths I carry the most. This is a vertical carry SMF, Lego SMF sheath, Crusader Cross, and all of these sheaths are made by Dave Abramson, another USN member, great guy, great products, and he runs the company Lifters Leather. And I don't know if you can make it out there, but there's his name, Dave Abramson. And I believe this is considered medium brown. I've got another sheath here. This one, if I'm not mistaken, is for concealed carry, horizontal concealed carry SMFs. You can see the usual suspect logo. Again, this is one of Dave's sheaths from Lifters Leather, Dave Abramson. Excellent quality, all made by hand, cut by hand, sewn by hand, wet fit by hand. Just an excellent product. This is the sheath that I carry probably second most other than my other one. Dog paws, because if you follow my Instagram page, you know I've got a big crazy white Labradoodle. So that's just because I'm a dog owner. This sheath here is also in the lighter brown leather. This is a Lego Smg sheath. It's also a vertical carry sheath. And like I said, you can see here, I carry it a good bit. Also, Lifters Leather. I have a horizontal, I believe this is gunner grip. A horizontal gunner grip sheath in the darker brown leather, again with the USN logo. I got all these sheaths directly from Dave. Great guy. He has his own website. He is also a member of the USN, so you can reach him in either place. And last but not least, this sheath here is a special sheath. This was a gift that was bought for me. This is Stingray over black leather. It's customized with my screen name on the back here, and you can see his logo again. Horizontal carry, and this one I believe is Lego, for Lego SMF. So definitely just great products. Those are my Strider folders. If you have any questions or comments, please by all means just drop them down below. I appreciate you guys watching, and I hope to catch you in the next video.